Hello guys, hope you're really doing fine and everything is obviously going on as planned. And this is the United Matters channel. Hope you guys are really having the blast of a Thursday, and we are obviously getting into the weekend. We are obviously going to play in the Manchester Derby, and Hoyland has something to say, Pep Guardiola has something to say, and I think that's the follow-up video I'm going to put up on this channel after giving you the story of no Glazer dividends for I think a third time in a row. Kobbie Mianoo updates, Donny van der Beek, Facundo Pellistri. What's the latest coming in from the sources of Man United as far as their future is really concerned? So Rokan David is my name. Hope you guys are really having a fantastic day. We thank God for the gift of life, and for the Muslims, Barak Laufikum, I may the living to God bless you abundantly, and we're here to obviously take it to where most of you want it to be. Not so all where you want it to be is being with us and obviously taking us to where we are really being given the benefit of doubt. Now, where should we start from? Let's start with the Glazers. Now, we have a story coming in from Man United website, and Samuel Lucas that Manchester United announced record revenue of £648.4 million, up to 11%. Long-term debt remains 538.2 million pounds. No dividend has been paid to the Glazers. The Glazer family did not receive any dividends for the entire year. 33.6 million pounds have been paid for the financial year ending June 30, 2022, but since then no dividends has been paid to the 6 siblings of the Glazers. Now, when you look at the club of Man United, all that is going round is how we make this club better. The Glazers have occasionally been blamed, truly, for really getting out dividends from the club of Man United. And when you look at the amount of money they've gone ahead to take out of Man United for the last decade and 7 years, it's close to £2 billion. Now, if those £2 billion were injected in the club of Man United and gotten back into the club, would have gone ahead to be having a stadium like Old Trafford. That is it, and better facilities. Wouldn't have been mourning about that. And their sale would have gone ahead to be valued a lot by Sheikh Jassim Al Thani. But Sheikh Jassim Al Thani gave one of the reasons as to why he never went in for the £6 billion they are calling in for, because the club is sat in debt and there is urge to build a new stadium for the club of Man United. That is it. So it's really very, very important to understand that now the Glazers have gone ahead to know that things you do now can obviously backfire, and when they backfire, they obviously affect their plan. They could easily get someone to pay or to give them £7 billion if at all they had gone ahead to build a stadium and the club was not sunk in debt, because the debt at Man United is close to £1 billion, and if you have to build a stadium, you need like £2 billion. That is £3 billion, meaning that Sheikh Jassim Al Thani would have gone ahead to offer them £7 billion if at all the club was not sunk in debt and the club had a stadium, meaning that all what was needed was to really get in the right structure, the club, and put in investment. That would have been okay. But Sheikh Jassim Al Thani knew it that if I give them £6 billion, I'll have to pay the debt, and after paying the debt, I'll have to build a stadium, improve facilities at Carrington. And that was really very ugly when it came to the bid, and that's why he pulled out. Now the Glazers have gone ahead to know that maybe they missed out on a big chunk of money because of really getting dividends out of the club of Man United. That's the first reason. The other reason as well they're not going to get dividends is because there is no way of how they're obviously going to run this club if they milk it dry, because those dividends are supposed to be part of the expenditure. And in the situation where we're in as a club of Man United, we need lots of things. Some facilities at Man United have gone ahead to obviously start improved, like at Carrington, the players' lounge at Old Trafford, the staff lounges are being improved everywhere. The toilets of Old Trafford are being improved. the leaking stadium or the leaking roof is also being improved. And all I want to let you know is that these Glazers are really feeling bad about this, because for them, there has been a cash cow for them. They've gone ahead to milk for the previous years, and this has gone ahead to put us in a situation of really looking like we are orphans as we the fans of Man United. And that's why teams like Man City, Arsenal have gone ahead to edge us, yet none of those teams matches the amount of money that we get in. But the huge wage bill at the club of Man United affects us. The way the Glazers run this club with the incompetent people around them affects us. And the dividends they take out of the club affected the progress of this club and not making the right decision. So they've gone ahead to understand that it's now coming back to us. And what goes round comes round, you know? In the period where United has gone ahead to make a record £643 million income with an 11% increase, the Glazers would have gone ahead to expect getting in more dividends. Not so. But with the income increasing at Man United, they're not getting in dividends because of the past problems. They never found results. They never found solutions for. And now it's too late for them to obviously enjoy. If I had been getting £33 million like in 2022, if I thought they had gone ahead to do things better for the past years, they would have been walking away with even like £50 million, because it would have been the Champions League, you know, and winning lots of things. Because if you get in £643 million when you're not playing Champions League football, because last season we never played Champions League football, we're in the UEFA Europa League, then it shows you that we might really get close to £700 million if at all we get out of the Champions League group stages and maybe get to the round of 8. That is it. So the Glazers are obviously paying for what they did way back. Now, Kobbie Mianoo, who was expected to return against Sheffield, played in what we call the game of the under-19s in the Champions League, as we are beaten by what's the side? It was as we are beaten by the side of Copenhagen, the young side. And after playing the game, he obviously went ahead and put this on his Instagram story. That is Kobbie Mianoo. And he told us that good to get 45 minutes in the legs after a tough time out. Work starts now. That's what Kobbie Mianoo really went ahead to say. So he really played some good 45 minutes, and it looks like Erik ten Hag wanted him to play this side because these games are really so competitive for Man United that he needs to obviously get himself moving by playing in such games and for such competitions. And I think he's soon getting back. Now, we've gotten a story coming in through from one of the journalists who is called by the name of Stephen Railstone. He's a Man United writer for the Manchester Evening News. As well as that, Man United are looking to slowly build up Kobbie Mianoo's fitness minutes as he targets a return to full fitness after injury. So one will ask that if Erik ten Hag tipped him to come in through and play a very huge role into the season of Man United, how come he's not getting him minutes in the games you're playing right now? Erik ten Hag knows how young this player is, and he knows how injuries, if not catered for a player in that age, can affect the player in his advanced age. Like you see Anton Martial, he played 2 seasons under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he's injured, and you see how everything is not working out well for him at the club of Man United. So it shows you that all we need is to keep him and bring him at the right pace, and that's what Erik ten Hag did. And that's why on Tuesday he played just 45 minutes and he got those in his tank. So you never know, Erik ten Hag might obviously be preparing him to obviously come in through and play in the game of Newcastle or even in the Manchester Derby to make it to the bench, because we might be needing him to come in through and do the needful. So as it stands for the club of Man United, Kobbie Mianoo is one of those players that fans fell in love with, especially when it came to his showcase during the preseason. He really played very well, not until he collided with Jude Bellingham, and he obviously was off the field of play. But all I know is that Kobbie Mianoo will obviously get better and better and better, and he's a player that increases the midfield question marks when it comes to who Erik ten Hag is going to be fielding at the club of Man United. Because if Kobbie Mianoo returns, that means we'll having Eriksen, Casemiro, Amrabat, Mason Mount, Kobbie Mianoo, Scott McTominay. Those are 6 midfielders, right, that can play in the double pivot. Now, how is he going to rotate those players so that they get ample playing time? That is the most important bit of all. So, but for me, Kobbie Mianoo gets into the team. That is it. If at all one of Casemiro or Amrabat is out, but I think he gives us something special, because sometimes you like that drive from a player who is really young and industrious, and you look around Man United and the only player that you have is Kobbie Mianoo and Hannibal. So, according to what is happening at the club of Man United, I think the future is bright. All we need is stability, and if at all you're having a bench with Kobbie Mianoo onto that bench, you obviously understand that the likes of Scott McTominay aren't going to get into this team. I told you that if at all we get all the players back, it's going to be hard for players like Scott McTominay to make it to the bench. You know, it's going to be hard for Harry Maguire to make it to the bench of Man United. The bench has only 8 slots. Now, if you put there Bendeir, 1, Amad Diallo, 2, Garnacho, 3, Anton Martial, 4, Malacia or Rogelon, 5, Lindelof, 6. You need to be having Eriksen and Kobbie Mianoo. So it's going to be hard for some players to make it to the bench of Man United in the coming months, because our players are going to be fully fit to see to it that they take us to where we deserve to be. And now let's talk about the huge question of Facundo Pellistri and Donny van de Beek. And Fabrizio Romano, while appearing onto the United Stand YouTube channel, I think it was a Monday, he said the following: Donny van de Beek is very likely to leave in January. For Facundo Pellistri, the priority from Man United is to extend his contract before a loan deal is sorted. You understand? So, Don van de Beek is expected to leave in January, and I think he's a player that I think United made a very, very, very bad gesture about him. To me, for Donny van de Beek, the solution would have been simple. Loan him out, even if they don't give you a loan fee, loan him out to a team that want a registration and all what, and tell them that you're going to pay his full salary. That is it. Such that he plays games, he becomes a regular in the team, and obviously hits the ground running, such that we can get like £30 million out of him. If he played on loan, you know, for a full season, Donny van de Beek would have gone ahead to see to it that we only make a loss of only £10 million from the amount of money that we bought him from Ajax. But they've gone ahead to fail to do that, you know. And I think in January it's good for him to leave. For Facundo Pellistri, looks like he cannot obviously come in through past Anthony, because we know that Anthony is really that player that the manager really loves a lot. But remember, even Amad Diallo is on his way. That makes it hard for him to obviously get a slot into the team of Man United. So by so doing, it leaves him in a situation of not getting enough minutes. But for Uruguay, he plays very well, and I think we need to loan him in the Premier League. That is it. I want to see him loan in the Premier League. But there is a condition that before he's loaned to anywhere, he has to come in through and really renew his contract at Man United. So it is that he obviously comes back when the club is really having a very good say on him, all in a strong position as far as keeping him at the club of Man United is really concerned. But I think he's going to get some minutes when you're playing in Newcastle. That is next week, midweek. That is it, mid next week. That's when you're playing Newcastle. So guys, your thoughts on to no Glazer dividends are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Kobbie Mianoo injury update and how they really plan to obviously nurture him back into the team of Man United? And what do you make about Donny van de Beek leaving January and Facundo Pellistri going on loan, but they have to first renew his contract at Man United or extend his contract at Man United. Rokan David remains my name. A sign out for now. See you later. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokan David remains my name. The Muslims, Barakallahu fikum. See you later.